Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda off here to glorious and everything 1v1 here on the road to Tunis. In the west we find Elpern, fighting for America, freedom, democracy, the 1st Infantry Division, straight off here with Special Operations with a Weasel right out of the gates. In the east, we have Xandr 27, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, here with the Hammond-Göring Fallschirm Panzergrenadier Division with a Kettenkrad MG42 star, and we got Luftwaffe battle group right off the gates as well. Surprised I haven't seen like any immediate Fallschirm Pioneer, though I guess we might see them down the road. So both players here, of course, going for some early mechanization, and of course, key difference between the Weasel and the Kettenkrad is the Weasel can get a gun. And can do a lot more in some ways than the Kettenkrad can. But the Kettenkrad is cheaper, so. Either way, though, interesting starts here on both sides. As always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters for the continued and generous support of the Propagandacast. Big thanks to all those wonderful people. So, Weasel straight on the centre here for Elpern, north at 742 and the Pioneers. South side here, Kettenkrad spot here, but the Scouts will need to withdraw that one pretty fast. We got a second M40 here for Xandr. No Fallschirm Pioneer. Interesting. I would have figured we'd see some Fallschirm Pioneers. Part of me is slightly disappointed because I do like them. Weasel there getting upgraded with a 30 cal, very good. So far though, beside that light bit of shooting there in the south, there's not really been much in terms of action in the first early moments. Looks like here though, Elpern of course sensing where the Weasel or the Kettenkrad is going, is going to send his Weasel after it to destroy it. An aggressive move here from Elpern, but of course if we can't put that Kettenkrad to rest, that will slow down here Xandr's ability to capture a lot of terrain early on. And I mean also potentially down a lot of mines. So there you go, Weasel going for it, but it's not quite upgrade. There we go, just to see that the Weasel does get the 30 cal, but it may not just be in time here, and Xandr is able to pull his Kettenkrad to safety. Machining gewehr holding up here up north of the machining gewehr backing up with the Pioneers. Elpern's riflemen slowly advance here. So far that opens up to a fairly decent start here versus Xandr.
The enemy has claimed our sector.
Question straight for the nations. The question, of course, is what is Xandr's game plan then, if not Fallschirm Pioneer at all? It's typically like one of the reasons I like going for this, like they do have sort of like, interesting openings there, and they do pack a minor punch. So, what could he be planning? In fact, he's just stopped building anything. Is he planning like a Luftwaffe company or a Panzergrenadier company rush then? There's a lot of potential here from Xandr so far. There we go, we got the Panzergrenadier company being rushed up. Elpern here trying to flank around. We can see with the Pioneers that covering the flank here, the infantry is able to hold Elpern's riflemen. So a bit of a fairly defensive posture here from Xandr in the early game, as he is, I guess, planning to rush up Panzergrenadiers, which is an interesting strategy in itself. It's not something we've seen a lot of. So not versus the Americans, where they're typically considered not too great, but I'm guessing Xandr he either knows something we don't, or he's just trying out stuff. We'll find out. Sandbags up north, we got more riflemen out here for Elpern. Freedom, democracy, liberty. Machine remains seized up, concerned about Elpern making a push for the calf point. But so far, Elpern has not shown much of an interest in that. Pioneers being flanked with the Weasel. Kettenkrad got the southern point. So far, the Elpern's definitely got several leads here. And there you go, first Panzer squad away for Xandr. Interesting choice, I mean, typically, if you're going for this, you're kind of lucky to like use Fallschirm Jägers instead, since they're like, very punchy, but that's not to say the Panzer is such bad. But wait, first Panzer is called halfway down here for Xandr. I mean, he's going to go for that. I do also imagine he's going to go here for an officer quad at some point to get this red one, and we got the LG-40 recoilless launcher. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. Machine getting flanked here by the Weasel, breaking into north here. Xandr's lines are very much just rapidly collapsing. So there you go. Pioneers can of course quickly crew the LD-40 here. Leicht's Geschütz was a weapon meant primarily for paratroopers. As a sort of very light artillery piece. Second Panzer squad on the way here, and there we go, quick crewing it up with the Pioneers, and then reinforcing it up further. Gives you a fairly cheap anti-tank gun here, since you're spending just 75 munitions, and close to 100 manpower, which is notably cheaper than just 260 manpower. This will of course then allow you to push for more Panzergrenadier. So, it's an interesting strategic move here by Xandr. And definitely, I think, is a very different Wehrmacht build compared with the usual ones. There you go, pushing northwards here with the LG-40. Machining gewehr, the Kernkraut, Panzer Grenadiers here. Sanders heading north here. Elpern's men of the 1st Division here is definitely overwhelmed here as Xandr and the Hammergöring Fallschirm Panzergrenadierdivision charges in. Pushing onto the Ralph squad up north here. Machine guns moving in, and of course the LG-40. Clearly concerned about like potential ground here. Weasellove's about to get knocked out. There we go. Good shot there from the LG-40, which is a fun sight, and actually used converted artillery ammunition for its gun. Just slightly modified that. Just used there. As another fun side fact, they actually had a larger version of the LG-40 with a 10.5 centimeter barrel there, or caliber. Pioneers holding against the captain's up to go straight for that. And let's switch over to Elpern. He was got 3 routes towards the scouts and the captain. Punch. They're definitely giving Elpern some hard times in the early game, since without the BARs, the Panzer Grenadiers are quite good. We do get the motor pool. He's clearly looking on then for a Greyhound here at Xandr, but the LG-40 here could potentially prove a bit of a headache. So, some very interesting moves in both sides in response, like from Xandr's side, a very unexpected strategy. Because you really just don't see Wehrmacht players rushing out Panzer Grenadiers whatsoever.
We've lost the territory set.
I imagine it's going to need to go for more than 2 Panzer Grenadier squads here. There you go, Greyhound here for Elpern and the Americans. LG-40 repositioning, got the cap opening up here. I can actually retreat here. The only anti-tank in the game with a retreat button.
Victory point now under enemy
Little fun
control.
fact there. Panzer Grenadiers setting out. South side here, you can see these make progress towards the southern victory point here, looking to slow down the bleed at Elpern's, otherwise fairly successfully executing on him. Flares off here up north though. Machine caught off guard here, definitely extended there by Xandr. Very extended. Map control wise, Elpern really continues, I think, lead quite nicely here versus Xandr, though Xandr is slowly catching up now, of course, thanks in part to the LG-40 blowing apart Elpern's Weasel, you know, making it go pop.
Light up the battlefield at your command.
Ralph squad, they're sprinting away here. They're not sprinting, it's the cat and spook's ability there, the flanking maneuver. But, you know, against the might of the Sturmgewehr here, no such chance. LG-40 holding back here. And we got another Panzer squad out here for Xandr that puts up to 3 in the south here. Greyhound strikes to the Panzer squad by the southern fuel point here. Racing in its 30mm gun there, blazing away. We got a 5th cal there being added as well for added anti-infantry firepower. Xandr's LG-40 is pretty much on the opposite end of the map there, so we'll take some time to get down there. Ralph squad could intercept the LG-40, making things tough here for Xandr. And further up north here, Elpern forces back the Panzer here with a well-front grenade and poured on them, though the MG-42 is doing something there to frustrate Elpern's movements. So, rather hectic stuff here. Kernkraut falling back, Greyhound pushing up, LG-40 heading southwards. Panzer there catching the Ralph squad, and we got another airdrop. Is it another LG-40? Is it Fallschirmjägers? Is it Fallschirmpionier? There's certainly quite a few options there. Go LG-40 getting up maneuver here with the Greyhound. Great shot, wiping out the entire crew. Good strike here for Elpern. Definitely leaves him a bit an awkward spot here. But there's another one in his base here. Greyhound pushing to the base. Kernkraut there, perhaps being used as bait here alongside the machine gun to keep Elpern in place for long enough for the LG-40 to catch it. Hard to say here. Greyhound taking last hit, getting great hit on the Kernkraut, almost taking out. LG-40 setting up here, and there you go. Great shot there. Punching a fairly large hole here into the Greyhound, but he gets the Kernkraut. Good kill there for Elpern for sure. And quickly scoots off there with the Greyhound in the face of Xandr's and the Hammergöring Fallschirm Panzergrenadiers like to give Schutz. Quickly moving on to recruit the other one, which one's going to have 2 of those. Versus Elpern's 1 Greyhound. We do have some SSF commanders out. He has actually lost a rifle squad. The addition of SSF commanders will certainly be quite helpful here. They're like machine guns, though certainly I imagine Elpern's priority at some point is going to be like some BARs up as well there to help fight back against all these Panzergrenadiere. South here, larger force there, 2 squads of Panzergrenadiers backed up by an MG-42. That's definitely going to be a nightmare for any infantry and certainly any scouts. Engineers on the way to repair the Greyhound. Got the LG-40s on the move here. No sign of additional Panzergrenadiere or any upgrades for them, like the officer quarters. Greyhound there, veterans 1 already. There you go, nice grenade here. Xandr, though, dodges it narrowly. LG-40s. Kind of all over the place. He's obviously trying to predict where Elpern's going to have his Greyhound T so he can actually blast it. But so far, Elpern, I think, is doing a fairly good job of defying Xandr's expectations. But there you go. Good shot there from the LG-40 there. Punching a fairly large hole into the Greyhound. Punching the almost taking out the Ralph Squad here. Could be another wipe on Elpern. And there you go. LG-40 spotted by the SSF commandos and the Johnson Light machine guns. Ripping through the LG-40. Further up north. MD-40 to the Demon Ralph Squad as the captain flanks up.
We have infantry standing by, Commander.
Could be a problem there.
We're tracking them on
Could be a problem.
points.
Flanking maneuver there from Elpern. Good consistent use of that ability. But now we got the Panzergrenadier arriving. Veterans 1 here. Flanking the captain and could get a wipe here if Elpern doesn't pay attention to retreat soon. Here at the fuel point though, Elpern is also struck there, hitting his opponent's fuel supply there. Very good play by Elpern. In the south though, the Greyhound goes down into the LG-40s. Or was that a bun grenade that actually did it? I think that was the LG-40 there scoring the kill. Yup. Costing Elpern his Greyhound. Great kill there. Definitely a blow there to Elpern. We also got the BRs finally on the way there for Elpern. Freedom, democracy, and liberty. So, Panzergrenadier heading out. Popping back here, and he's got a total of 4 squads of Panzergrenadiers. I think part of it is definitely just the LG-40s here, which again allows them to more cost-efficiently get out anti-tank guns, even though they're not directly as powerful. They do make up for it by being cheaper, and also I think fairly mobile. So strategically, this is a very interesting move. And what is this? I feel like there was something happening in the Xandr's base, but that might just be my imagination. No, it is. It's a Panzer company. He's rushing straight ahead for Panzers here. An incredibly aggressive strategy from Xandr in a lot of respects here. And certainly an interesting use of Luftwaffe. Guess we may not get any Fallschirmjägers. Part of me is a bit disappointed at that. We'll have to see some Fallschirmjägers as well here. But, oh well. But the question as well is, will he actually go for the officer quarters here? Because his Panzergrenadiers, when you go for that many, he really would benefit from them, to be honest. Close to wipe here. Big push here by Elpern as well here. And a second Greyhound out. Believing in the power of the ground here against the German army. LG-40, they're being pushed back. Massive rout, but that's definitely going to be wiped here on Xandr's Panzergrenadiers. We do get the infantry reserves up here. Good upgrade to have, of course, a good ability to have. Meanwhile, up north, Xandr and the Hammer-Göring Fallschirm Panzergrenadier Division is making great progress. It would, in Italy, be upgraded to Panzer Division, having been destroyed in North Africa and Tunisia. In fact, then another great shot from the LG-40 here, almost taking out the Greyhound. Up north, they find by the field point there. It's not working out well. The barred up rifle versus the Panzergrenadier there is not quite looking great here for Xandr. He's still also got some tampon going for the Panzer IVs. Could sneak out some Starstrom though. I do think that'd be a good addition here. Of course, you could try and still go for the Fallschirmjägers. That could also be a pretty good addition. Commandos and the captain falling back. Could actually breach here. Oh, he doesn't have the munitions. Never mind, he can't breach. What do you mean we don't have munitions? Well, we don't, so we can't breach this thing. Ah, scheiße. Shooting Gewehr there, getting flanked by El Capitan. Panzergrenadier there, pushed back here by the SSF commandos, deploying a plethora of firepower there. Back here, reinforcement healing. Panther 4 though is getting pretty close here though for Xandr. Oh, never mind. His Panzer company seems to have slightly bugged up. They're all being set up. Can happen here on this map a bit from time to time, unfortunately. We'll need to cancel that and restart it. And we've got those two LG-40s here at the ready. Yep, cancelled. Reinforcement healing. That does, I think, give Elpern a bit more room there. But not necessarily a lot. Still, we got 272 versus 462. Elpern still has a great lead in terms of victory points over Xandr. But otherwise, he's definitely run into some snags here against just a lot of Panzergrenadiers, backed up machine Gewehren and the LG-40s. And I suspect things are about to get even rougher once those Panther 4s hit, because Elpern, as you might have noticed, doesn't have any anti-tank guns. I mean, at best, what he's got are the SSF commandos with the bazookas. Let's say backed up a lot of Panzergrenadiers. That's going to be a tough engagement there. Go quick sprint here from Xandr, moving in with those Panzergrenadiers in large numbers. Pushing back the rifleman here. That's going to be bad news there for Elpern's riflemen, his GIs. And we got machine guns and anti-tank guns that back up as well here in the south. Greyhound pushed back. Veterans one of the other LG-40. Oh, going back to Elpern.
300 points remaining for the Germans.
Elpern definitely is feeling the pressure. He's also got a fair amount of munitions floating about. He probably saving up for some strafing runs and additional BARs, I imagine. He hasn't already gone for them. But he's definitely going to need an anti-tank gun in the near future. Because otherwise that Panther 4 is going to give him what for. Whilst calling up here, punches they're being ripped apart out in the open. Not that I presume to get a bun grenade. I think should actually gone for a breach here. Ooh, that kind of worked out well anyways. LG-40 being forward C. Southside command for uncovering fire here, blasting the Panzer Grenadier out in the open. We got a strafing run here though from Elpern on the machine gun. And catching the LG-40 as well here. That definitely had a bit of an impact there. Didn't kill too many, but still means they're going to be busy healing up back in the base. But now though, we have the Panther for Xandr. The Panzerkampfwagen 4, and that's going to be a bit of a challenge here for Elpern for sure, because again he's got basically a pair of bazookas and some commandos to try and stop this Panther. This Greyhound is absolutely going to be exploded in a few moments here as Xandr unleashes the armored fist of the Wehrmacht here upon his Greyhound. We got the anti-tanks on the way there as the pretty much best response you can currently muster against the Panther 4. Like Xandr's Panther 4 rush strategy so far has worked out fairly well, and just all these Panzer Grenadiers are also clearly giving Elpern a bit of a hard time. Of course, at this point, part of me would suggest replacing the lost ones with the more Panzer Grenadiers, or even Starstorm I think could be a very good idea here for Xandr's, or Fallschirmjäger. I mean, that's the fact, like right now, thanks to Luftwaffe, Xandr does have a lot of options how to pursue this. Panther 4 though need repairs. Further south here, machine gun, LG-40 healing up. Here we got Route 14 the Panzer Grenadier here, BARs versus Sturmgewehrs, more likely Maschinenkarbine 42. Considering the setting. Riflemen push them back. Anti-tank gun heading southwards there. Elpern clearly expecting the fighting to happen here. We'll have to see his prediction holds true. We also got a nice bit of harassment here from Elpern, sneaking up through the gaps here in Xandr's lines and laying down mines. Sneak heat, get efficient play there by Elpern. Some upgrades to the Panther 4 that I think could also be a good idea. Of course, more Panther 4s could also be a pretty good idea as it turns out. There you go, pushing forward here. That said, officer quarters for the Panther 4s would be a very good option. Certainly also be good for any Starstorm. Machine gun heat catching the obstacle here. It's Chaffee for Elpern versus the Panther 4. I feel like slightly indicated that Elpern is definitely feeling the heat, the pressure, and just wants something to slightly threaten those Panther 4s. Got the SSF commander rushing forwards. Also, fun fact about the Chaffee's gun. Oh, he actually counters it, but it actually, in terms of like efficiency, was roughly equivalent to that of the Sherman's gun, despite being a bit small overall.
The enemy have taken territory from us.
Panther 4, they're being repaired. Got the second Panther 4 ready.
Enemy in control of all victory points.
No sign of upgrades. We've got all 3 victory points in the hands here of the German army.
We must take it back.
Die Hermann Göring Fallschirmpanzer Grenadier Division. Luftwaffe's only Panzer Grenadier Division, well, would eventually get another one, but, you know, over for the most part, only one, and then later only Panzer Division. And the south here, he goes in hard. Double Panther 4s blazing through. The SSF commandos are utterly overwhelmed in the face of this armored shock assault here out of Xandr here and Deutschland. We got the Panzers flanking around here, anti-tank crew in double, deep trouble here. Bit of suppressor fire, he halts some of the Panzers, but the anti-tank crew's trouble. Strafing runs going down here. The southern fields are alight with chaos and carnage as Xandr and the Hermann Göring rushes through it, recruiting the anti-tank, but there's a second anti-tank already here. And maybe Xandr wasn't quite ready for that. The other anti-tank had been cleared out. They should have focused on murdering the infantry nearby here. Pushing forwards here against the anti-tank and taking more damage. Other Panther 4 providing a lot of fire here in the south. Engine damage, and the other Panther 4 here could be able to clear out the anti-tank gun. Other one being crewed here. Damaging the other one. At this point, you might want to just pop the Veterans 1 ability here because the otherwise, you know, debuff to movement, I think, won't matter. There we go. Cleared up both anti-tanks as well up north here. Veterans 1 as well. Their damage engine being swarmed. Should, I think, try and destroy the anti-tank. And we got the SSF commands going in. We got straight... No. It's a bombing run here from Xandr. And wow, the tree here actually absorbed the bombs. Bad angling here. Did get a scout squad, but yeah, like the bombs basically just hit this area, then screening the other ones beneath it.
We have Sherman Whizbangs available.
Talk about fighting in the shade, I guess. Yeah, there was a bit of a hectic engagement here for Xandr. Clearly tried to make a push, but the Oryxen himself and the infantry support wasn't quite there either, at which point things fell apart and he failed to destroy the anti-tank and ended up losing a Panther for that. And wasting the bombing run because, you know, turns out these trees can absorb a lot of bombs. And Elpern responds to all of this with a Whizbang. Alright, this fight definitely is going places we typically don't see a lot of matches go here. Back to Xandr. He's got those Fallschirmjägers. So again, whether or not we'll call them in is another matter, but certainly I do think some Fallschirmjägers or Starstorm could be a very good engineer for Xandr. Whizbang barrage here. A lot of sand being kicked up into the skies. Big 2 points wise, as Xandr's actually been able to bring Elpern more or less down to his level, and we got another Panzergunner on the way there. Definitely not a bad idea. Again, a part of me really would like to see some Fallschirmjägers at this point, or the Starstorm. But he's doing fairly well with those Panzergunners for sure, though. So clearly, there's definitely more to them against the Americans than you'd figure there is. So thumbs up to Xandr on that respect. Does he at least have the officer quarters? He does not. Yeah, but part of me would like to see some Fallschirmjägers as well here. But again, that's just me. All the way, though, Xandr is definitely, I think, breaking interesting new ground here with the Wehrmacht in terms of like strategies, and it's so far working out fairly well here versus Elpern. I mean, Elpern has definitely been caught off guard by this strategy. Second Panther 4 there for Xandr, and the Hammond Göring Fallschirm Panzergrenadier Division. Overall, the major of the Luftwaffe's advantages there they could provide to the Panzer Division was basically providing, you know, training via Fallschirmjäger instructors, amongst other things, but also, like, you know, a lot more flak guns and such. And also, whatever equipment they could muster from the Luftwaffe stocks. So, little fun fact there. Second Panther form is done. North here, Rav squad striking to the Panzer squad here, and again without veterancy against the 82 squad, though this is less looking great, and this is where again Fallschirmjägers or maybe some Starstorm might have been a better investment for Xandr at this point in the game. Panzering 4 northwards here. Elpern's Whizbang setting out. Whizbang being one of 2 major variants of the whole strapping rockets to the Sherman tank thing, the Elpern calls being the more famous Calliope. The Whizbang was, you know, very similar, but just fired fewer but larger rockets. So there's a bit of a fun fact as well. North, the anti-tank gun commandos pushing forwards, Rav squads, captains moving in here. The Panther 4 they're holding back, may want to course at the pin-mounted machine gun gewehr. But there's certainly also an argument again for the officers' quarters here, and maybe even some side skirts. Center engineers versus the MG-42. And we got the Whizbang flying away here, hammering into the machine gun. Elpern goes for a wipe here. Can he manage it? No. Managed to ruin a lot of cover, but doesn't quite wipe it up. North here, Panzer goes in trouble. Commandos, Captain charging at the Panther 4 here. Good chance of getting a wipe, in fact. Pulling out there, but can Xandr get them out in time before Elpern's SSF commandos turn them into pop? Anti-tanks on the move here. Almost got the captain. Bazooka shots fail to penetrate the Panther 4. And up north here, grenades being chucked. Rav squad almost getting wrapped up by the Panzergrenadier. And we got a strafing run here from Elpern, hitting nails by the center. We got a flamethrower left behind here, by the way. Elpern seemingly having lost any new squad to that. And there you go, nice flank here with the Panzergrenadiers going in for the anti-tank guns, which could have caused enough for the Panther 4s to push forwards, though one is completely forgotten in south here. That is definitely beneficial for Elpern. And what is this? We got a second Whizbang out of Elpern. Alright, this match keeps going more and more interesting places, that's for sure. Double LD-40s, lots of Panzergrenadiers versus a lot of Whizbangs. Engineers Rav squad here versus the MG-42 right outside of Elpern's own base. Looking tough there. LD-40s machine gun here, and there you go. Whizbang against the machine gun here. Xandr, I imagine, clearly not expecting his opponent to have 2 Whizbangs because, you know, who goes for double Whizbangs? Elpern, clearly. Panzer going to be flanking up. LG-40s moving forwards. Both of them veterans won. They haven't done much more. There you go. Going for it. But they run straight into Elpern's trap here and get whiz-banged by the second whiz-bang. And both LG-40s there are getting wiped. A fiendish move here by Elpern. That said, he's down to less than 80 points and he immediately pops the rocket pod there on the Whizbang, turning into a regular Sherman and charges straight at Xandr. Straight into the Panther 4 here though. And now Elpern moving up with his double anti-tanks here, ripping through here. Xandr's Panther 4, Punchgun's counter-attacking machine gun, they're doing what they can as well here. Other Panther 4 flanking in. Good God, the moves and the counter moves are just completely intense here. Units are dying and getting suppressed here. Tanks outmaneuvering each other, and we're just seeing all manner of twists here. Whizbang Sherman keeping up as the Panther 4 here. Almost got it. Note, by the way, once you pop the rocket pod, as it is a veteran's one ability, by the way, there, you cannot get it back. There's definitely, like, you know, a thing you're doing because you have to. And you're willing to accept you're going to lose the rocket launcher. Wipe the Pentagon scored here. Bit of a blow there to him on top of losing all these anti-tank guns. We got air recons, I think, there from Xandr versus Elpern up north here. Panther 4 number 2 straight into the mine and it goes up in flames. And I think that was an anti-tank mine. Yes, he actually researched the demolition package so he could lay down anti-tank mines, which took out his Panther 4. Oh, goodness. And with that, Xandr's just lost all of his Panther 4s. Meaning he actually has... Oh, he just got another one up. But he also has 90 tank guns. He's going... Is he replacing his Panzer gun here being lost either? I'm not entirely sure. It looks like Elpern might actually be turning this around, though. It's definitely a rather close call there if he does manage to turn around here with a comeback against Xandr. Panther in trouble. Got 2 Vetchi 3 routes squads here versus the Vetchi 2 Panzers, never need to retreat them again. I feel like this is where, like, if you'd gone for the officer quarters, they would have Vetchi 3 by 9 in a better situation there for Xandr. And we got an anti-tank being grabbed by the Panzergrenadier here. Whizbang hanging back, and we got the other Sherman being repaired up there. Panzerkampfwagen on the move. Yeah, no Son of Starstorm, Fallschirmjägers, or any like officer quarters here for the Panther 4 as well. Still, we got 61 versus 222 here. 28 actually, not 222. Whizbang. Can't quite fire, but I imagine he's just bluffing here. Basically, he's like moving out there and, like, you know, daring Xandr to, like, stick around there and just try and call his bluff. And it clearly worked out, by the way. Like, 2 thumbs up for Elpern. Like, you really don't get to see that kind of, like, bluffing in a game like Company Heroes, but Elpern did it and it worked. Like, that was absolutely impressive. Another bombing run here. Ken kind of whiffed here. This time just because he was able to dodge it, not so much because a single, like, palm tree or whatever that is, like, not palm tree, but basically a tree, just absorbed, like, most of the bombs. Northeast Sherman being fixed. We've got 32 left, though, for Elpern. 31. Still a good chance for Xandr to pull through here. He still has 3 Panzergrenadier squads, maybe 4. No, just 3. Straight into the MD-42 here, which he managed to get out of Xandr's hands here. There we go, Whizbang barrage, right in the double up, Panzergrenadiers here, bunched up. Great shot, and that's Vetch won the second Whizbang. Well, he dropped the rocket pod as well, the launcher as well on that one. Got another Whizbang out here for Elpern. 30 versus 224 here. Yup. Elpern going from Whizbang to regular Sherman. Again, meaning now has 2 Shermans here versus the 1 Panther 4. We got an M1 anti-tank here, ready to take on the Sherman head on. And Elpern just drives in, hell bent on victory. clearing out their Xandr's anti-tank. At this point, it's starting to look like GG actually for Xandr here. Panzers are in deep trouble though, getting surrounded by the Shermans, the infantry here. We got ace commanders out here for Elpern as well. They're down to 2 men below health, and he's bombarding the Panther 4 with the Whizbang. Less than 200 points left. Another Panther 4 out here for Xandr, but there's an anti-tank and backing up the 2 Shermans. That Panther 4 is absolutely dreadfully outgunned. We got another fragmentation bombing run here. Panther 4 kaput. And again, the bombing run, he just... Oh, it does clear up the anti-tank, but the rest kind of gets, like, dodged. At this point, it's looking really bad for Xandr. I mean, he just went from, like, being in such a strong winning position to, well, not being in a strong winning position. Maybe he could still turn this around, but the odds are definitely looking a bit grim here. Looking a bit grim. $30 versus 153 here. South, the SSF commanders being pushed back here by the Panzergrenadier, who are finally near the ace level. Panther 4 being fixed up.
Reports of enemy movement near our victory point.
Healing reinforcement.
We have vehicles ready to be dispatched to the front.
30 versus 126 here. Elpern now looking much stronger.
Victory point.
Having a fairly sizable armoured fleet they compared to his opponent. Decent amount of infantry as well. And of course a decent amount of support weapons. The odds for Xandr are looking significantly less cheerful. 112 versus 30. Still has those Panzergrenadier, but I really feel like you should have had an officer quarters up for them sooner. At least had some Fallschirmjägers out soon as well. Another LG-40 here for Xandr. That one though feels pretty late for him, and I'm less confident that's going to do too much for him now at this stage versus Elpern. He's down 103, soon 100 here versus Elpern's 30 still. Like, he could still, like, probably sneak his way to a win, but I think he's better off, like, trying to sneak in, like, just dropping Fallschirmjägers and Fallschirm Pioneers, and, like, hoping to just catch Elpern completely, you know, befuddled. And even that might just be, like, asking for too much here, to versus a player of Elpern's caliber. I'm not entirely sure that kind of, like, you know, coup de main would work out there. SSF command strategy force with the Johnsons out here versus the German Panzergrenadier. Panther 4 breaking up towards the center here, forcing the rifle squad to vacate the building there. Panzergrenadier pushing forwards. Grenades being chucked. White Foss was the Geballte Ladung. Almost caught them in the retreat there. Nice throw there by Xandr. Still a fair amount of manpower floating. Could of course go for another Panther 4. He could also drop someone on the northern victory point here. Shot bounce there. Very lucky there for Elpern. 83 versus 30. Xandr is still at it for Deutschland. Building there, seeing large chunks of rubble there being blown out. Anti-tank from one side. LG-40 could attack from another side. We got the captaining up here. And we got an artillery strike moving up here. There we go. Shoots, misses. Bad luck there for Xandr. Of course, great luck for Elpern.
75 points remaining.
75 points left for Xandr. 74. That's Elpern's 30. And there you go. The Whizbang unleashes hell here. Pretty much evaporating poor Xandr's anti-tank gun crew. Panther 4 getting pelted with anti-tank grenades. And there you go. Finally, though, he drops a Fallschirmjäger squad up north here. Finally, but it feels, unfortunately, rather late here for Xandr versus Elpern. Rather late. Quick barrage on the MG-42. Pretty much pulverizing the entire machine crew except for one man. That's 62 versus 30. 61. And before they're being sent forth once more. Almost got the northern one. And there you go, suppressed just by the sheer amount of poured on him here from Elpern's riflemen. Absolutely not allowing those German Panzergrenadiers to get close. Got a Geballte Ladung there. Almost taking out one of Elpern's rifle squads. Almost, but not quite. Panther 4 with LG-40 support pushing back. One in the Shermans, but we got anti-tank guns on the flank here. Shattering the sidearm here of Xandr's poor Panther 4. And that's another Panther 4 left to burn here in the scorching sands of northern Africa. 56 versus 30. Situation here for Xandr is completely collapsing here. Elpern's comeback at this point appears pretty much complete and total.
Enemy forces have captured a victory point.
So, yeah. Wipe the match, I'd say. Another airdrop here, this time Fudging Pioneer. Making another attempt. I'm glad to see some Fudging Pioneers as well, but it seems like, you know, a bit with the Fudging Makers, it's a bit too little too late, I feel. A bit too little too late. Decent shot there. We got more Whizbangs of Elpern just bombarding the base here. Hitting his own tank as well there. Pushed off the northern point of the Fudging Pioneer were no match for the rifleman up there. 23 points left. More barrages here into Xandr's advancing troops. 20, 17. He's desperately trying here. He really is, but it's just not enough. And there you go. Well played. GG, well played. So halting here. Sink as well. Never mind, got a sink error. So there you go. GG, game over. A hell of a fight here. A lot of hectic back and forth action. Like, you know, an interesting strategy here from Xandr as well there, with the, like, heavy Panther focus using the LT-40, then it's like, you know, basically get up cheaper into tank guns so you can focus more on Panther Grenadiers, and then using that to then push further for fast Panther 4s there. Really interesting strategies, those. I think, obviously, you know, some room for refinement. I think definitely would have benefited from an officer quarters upgrade for those Panzer Grenadiers at some point, or maybe mix in some Fudging Makers. I think that could also help out Xandr there. I think that would have given something, you know, a bit more punch as well, that alongside the Panzer Grenadiers, and particularly once we get some veterans on them, they've, I think, could, like, you know, really help a longer match here versus Elpern. But I also think, like, you know, the officer quarters for the Panther 4's been nice here. Maybe some iron side skirts, even Starstorm. Like, there's a lot of options here for Xandr, and again, definitely, like, a new strategy, so, you know, fun enough, it doesn't quite get it right. There's also some interesting tactics. This push here definitely didn't quite work out, and that fragmentation bomb definitely also went sideways. But a really exciting fight here. Also, it's interesting to see how Elpern reacted, who's definitely caught very much off guard by it. Definitely struggled a bit in the early game, but he definitely turned it around, and the way he used his Whizbangs was quite impressive as well there. So, you know, really fun fight there. Hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. Consider telling your friends or family. You can also support the Propagandacast by donating or pledging on Patreon. Links in the description. Every bit helps me keep making these videos. So thank you all for joining in, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.